All right, deer gun season in the state of Ohio is right around the corner. Right around the corner for me means we're several weeks away, actually more than 2 months at this point. Um, but I'm not going to wait till right before the season starts to zero my gun and train with it to a certain extent. What I'll do is I'll spend a couple minutes every week dry practicing. I'll come out to the range once every other week, shoot a handful of rounds in different positions, and I'll build up to it. So when the season comes around, I feel 100% with it. I don't have to think about anything. I've got a bunch of time behind the gun, little drops in the bucket as we go along. So where I'm going to practice is from a seated position, because a lot of times I'm hunting gun with my kids. So my kids and I will hunt out of a stand, either on the ground or a blind from the ground, or a blind slash stand elevated. So, but a lot of times we're seated in chairs. So the thing that I want to practice is these different positions, like straight on, which is awful because I don't have a whole lot of support. Now in my stand, I have a rest and I can put it on there, but I'm thinking worst case scenario, if I got a rest, that's a piece of cake all day long. On my soft ground blind, I don't. So I want to practice off of that. The other things I want to practice are off to my sides. So inside the soft ground blind, because if it's me and my kiddos in there, it's a little bit too tight. So I can't swivel my chair all the time. So I may end up having to shoot off to the side like so. Now this is a lot more comfortable. I've sacrificed my natural point of aim a little bit, but I've got really good support with my support hand. 10 times less wobble. Now, probably I don't know, I feel very comfortable shooting off our support side. So this is like middle of the road, but I still want to, middle of the road as far as difficulty goes. I still have really good support. And what I find here is I just have to close my dominant eye because my non-dominant is taking over, or I want it to take over. So I can practice those, and then I follow up with, after dry practice, is confirming it with live ammo. So again, I've got range is important as well. I have plenty of range because we have our own training facility, so I can shoot out to 1,300 yards if I want. But I've got an 8-inch plate out there because I was too lazy to grab the 6-inch plate. But usually I use a 6-inch plate and I put it at about 65 yards. That's about the average for us. The closest I've shot deer, like 10 yards, and as far out as 120 yards. So I'll train out to 200 yards, and I'll shoot some stuff in close as well, because I'm using an optic. Right now I've got it on 4 power. I may have to tone it down for those close shots. There's so many variables when it comes to shooting different distances and different positions. You want to experience them all before you're actually put in that position. So here we are, live fire. Validate my dry practice. Work the bolt with follow through, back on safe. Going over to this side. Very good. That's it. In a nutshell, that's what I suggest to you. Examine what you've hunted in the past or what you're training for. This could even be a competition. If you know that you're going out to a certain competition, you have certain stages of fire that you know are going to occur, at least some of the parameters. You can dry practice those parameters and then validate them through live fire. That's all it is. The same goes for combative shooting. If you know in your house that your engagements are going to be anywhere from close quarters, such as touching the person, muzzle contact, out to 15 yards in your house, in and around your house, well, that should be what you're training with most of the time, and then start to work outside from those other parameters. And that's how you add skill and confidence, because you have the awareness allows you to start to identify skills. And once you start to identify and work on those skills, you build confidence. See you guys on the